Basically, what happened to you was that you saw the fear. So before you can even think about any real driving, you got to make friends with that fear. So, get in the car.
What the hell? It's a goddamn cougar in the car!
Oh, there's a cougar in the car. I put it in there. You got to learn to drive with the fear. And there ain't nothing more goddamn frightening than driving with a live cougar in the car.
You know, this season that I've spent so far at G&J Cartway, and really as I go through the middle/end of the season, there is this universal theme that has been working this whole time, at least for me, which is that I continue to make mistakes and learn lessons from them. And of course, race number 8 and 9 that was just done a few days ago down there on the 30th and 31st of July. Yeah. I mean, I walked away with it by learning something real important. If in the middle of the race you start to feel a lot of heat from under you, your butt may be on fire. Hello everybody, I am Captain Awesomeness, and today I'm going to talk about a rather hot situation that I got myself into that I shouldn't have. So let's just start actually talking about the Sunday race, which was really uneventful. I didn't really place well. Here's the footage that you'll see where I'm just struggling because I am having a hard time trying to get the cart to do what I wanted to do. As you can see, I'm behind this gentleman here, whose name is Tom, real awesome dude, and I actually get to go around him, I think, the one time, and that's it really. I was not able to catch up to the people ahead of me just because of the fact that the rear end would not, no matter what I tried to do, come under control. So whatever. Anyway, so Saturday race was where the excitement was, and what I just talked about with the heat and your butt may be on fire basically all started from there. But before I really talk about that, guys, do me a favor, please hit thumbs up, please subscribe, and please hit that notification bell icon so you're made aware of whenever I upload my latest video. All right. I'm looking at something and I'm just thinking, should I talk about that first? Nah, you know what? I'm just going to talk about the day at first. So what was different this time around than before is that so far, outside of the few times, it's just been Reiner and myself who've been racing at G&J this season. It's just because other veterans who belong to the group have not had the opportunity to come down. Everybody has a life, and it's quite understandable. But this time we had a huge turnout. Well, relatively speaking, huge. We went from just 2 guys racing to 4 guys racing. So we doubled up, literally. And it was real good to have that. So one person who has been with us but not really part of Racing4Vets, but we are helping him out because he is helping us in exchange with knowledge base and all that, is Billy Clune. He's a real young guy, but he's somebody who's been racing for quite a long time, and he, as a matter of fact, has been racing on the X30 platform. X30 is a 125cc 2-cycle engine that is just nuts. That's all I'll say about it. So he's been racing since he was way young, maybe 5 or 6 years old. So I'll take a lot of that opportunity to connect with a guy like him and learn from him and have him, you know, kind of race for us when we don't have enough people racing, so that our team can get somewhat of a respectable ending with a good number of points. Basically, that's what the whole point is. And he was there. He really helped all of us out in getting ourselves fixed, as well as, you know, working on his own cart. Then there was a veteran of the group, and he is a military veteran and a veteran of the group in the sense that he's been with us for a while, Gary Rump. He was another individual who raced last year. This year was a little difficult for him, and he just showed up for a little bit of show of support, but at the same time, he also helped us get a lot of things done that we simply could not have. So, Gary, thank you for showing up and helping us out. Then another important individual that showed up was Austin Johnson. Now, Austin has also been racing since he was a real young kid, but he kind of took a gap for a few years. And again, everybody has their priorities they have to look at. And he came back after a bit of a gap, and it was pretty cool to have him around as well because I got to connect with him real quick. Real cool guy, real laid back. Knew a lot about what to do with the LO206 engine and how to really get that engine to kind of work as well as the chassis that you know, we race on. By the way, we have an LO206 engine on the LO206 class, but we use a Margay Brava chassis, which is actually used by the guys who race on the KA100 engine class, but we're using it on the 206. It's legal, so whatever at that point. But anyway, all these three gentlemen, along with, of course, our team captain Reiner and myself, we had a great time and a blast, and it was just amazing. So now all of that being out of the way, let's talk about what happened. So all of Saturday was pretty nice, I thought. We were just kind of, you know, yip-yapping a little bit after I had my little bit of fun on the KA100 and just, you know, talking about everything that we could. You know, it was a way for all of us guys to kind of get to know each other and understand where we all came from. But as and when we were going through our chassis, I had to go through a certain phase where I needed to tune the engine of my LO206. As I was doing that, Austin was standing there and he noticed something odd. What he noticed was that as soon as I'd rev the engine, the wheels in the back would start doing a little bit of this. And he started looking closely and he realized that the axle, the right rear side, so if you're looking that way, the nose is that way, this side was just moving around a lot. And it come to find out it was because there are usually 5 or 4 bolts that hold that axle bearing down there for the axle to actually remain attached to the body, and there's only one. And that too was also working itself out, which then, of course, put us all by surprise and solved a lot of the problems that we didn't know were happening because of it. So one problem was the fact that, you know, my chain kept coming off. Well, it was because that part is where the chain sprocket goes onto for us to put the chain on. And yeah, if it's moving and the vibrations happen, yeah, that chain is going to work itself out. But then the other thing is, it completely changed the way the chassis felt altogether. The fact is that because of the fact that that end was loose, it was changing the dynamics of what the cart was trying to tell me as and when I would make left turns. Well, if you're going to the left, you're putting a lot of pressure on the right side, and the outside tire is just trying to do whatever it can. And because of the axle moving, it kind of felt as if I was on rails in some ways, because I think more pressure due to this side moving. I don't know how to explain it, but it was just kind of weird. The left and the right were working themselves out in a way that didn't seem natural to me, and I just figured, hey, you know what, it's just on account of the way the cart feels. Well, when we bolted the whole thing down, all of a sudden my cart, as I mentioned, went from being great, or at least somewhat controllable, to completely losing traction everywhere. So that tells me all the tuning that I did with the chassis up to this point was based off of the fact that one side was dangerously loose. Had that thing come off in the middle of a race, it could have flown off and hit someone. So a huge safety violation, and I'm glad that Austin caught it. We bolted that crap down, and we checked every other bolt that I just never even thought to actually inspect, and we made sure that this thing was tight. So with that done, I got on the track, I did my practice runs, I did my qualifier, and then I did the actual race itself. Again, knowing that this cart was kind of sort of acting weird, I didn't know how it would really turn out to be the entire weekend, but again, you know, I'm learning. That's all there is to it. But let's get into the race and let's talk about this race. All right, so let's talk about how this race went then, shall we? I've got Matt Abel, first of all, right in front of me, number 63, and we're just about launching, and I get a pretty good launch, I feel, where I am able to keep right behind him. I want to stay on the inside, and I'm doing the best I can to make sure that I have myself covered on the left and right. Here I just almost slipped, get my cart into control, and watch Reiner number 22 suddenly slip, and that causes everybody else to kind of go around. I crash into Otto, who was another good racer, and I just try to recover. Of course, the cart being on grass doesn't really do well, and I just kind of jumped up and down on the cart like you see another good friend of ours do, and yeah, we continue on. But here's what I did not realize while I began to race here. I did not know that one of the bolts that actually holds the seat to the chassis on the right side had basically torn off of the seat. So what it did was it made me tilt on the right side. And as I then started to pursue everybody else who had already made it up front, I began to feel kind of weird. And what it was that, as I mentioned, my right rear side just started to feel real hot. And instead of stopping, I just decided to keep going. What it was doing to me, again, I did not realize at the time, was that not only did that bolt come off of the side, but I actually destroyed the seat in the bottom. So basically my rear end was exposed to the asphalt. And as I started going through this 18-lapper race, I just kept on feeling that heat. I felt it get real hot at times, and I figured, you know what, no way, I'm gonna quit. I started thinking like, I don't know, I was on some mission of some sort back when I used to serve in the military, and I did the whole 18 laps, and the funny thing is, this entire time, every time it would get too hot, too painful for me to bear, I would just raise up my right butt cheek and keep going. And yeah, come to find out, that was actually a huge mistake that I made. I don't know how else to describe that, because, you know, again, at the time I just didn't want to quit, but I really should have quit in hindsight. So that's that. Anyway, not much of this race can be discussed at this point, because whatever position I was in, as you see here, is what I was able to maintain, and even that I don't understand how I did so. So yep, let's get into showing you the remnants of what was left of the cart, I suppose, and myself. The one picture that you'll see right now is what is left of the seat, as it basically lost part of itself rubbing against the asphalt, and then, like I said, exposing my rear end to the asphalt, and yeah, the resultant damage that happened. So first I'm going to actually show you guys what the racing suit looks like. Well, before I even go any further, this is a Sparco racing suit that we got from a donor. I apologize, sir, that I don't remember your name, but you were definitely very generous, especially on the day that I forgot to actually bring my racing jacket over, so I needed something to race in, and you walked in at the right time, not knowing, you know, the fact that I had a bit of an equipment availability issue. But anyway, real nice Sparco racing suit. I mean, you know, it's a full-on racing suit, real heavy, not exactly made for me, but still, it served its purpose, and I'm about to show you what happened. So this, my friends, is what's left of the racing suit. Burn marks. I was on fire. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to show you a quick recording of what was said without the video, as to what this one person witnessed. Otto, that is.
When he stepped off, I was right behind him. That was burning. His whole wallet is pretty much in half, flaming.
What, that was on fire?
That was his seat.
Oh, this.
Yeah, that was his seat. And when he stopped here, he was jumping out. It was open for fire on his butt. What's that? That's what he was sitting on when he got off. When he jumped out, I was right behind him. His wallet is pretty much in half. Everything was gone. I mean, it's nuts. Look at. I mean, it's nuts. I'm not sure if you flagged it.
So like he said, this is what was left of my wallet. Just pieces of it. Okay? And this is what was left of the money, followed by one of my ID cards melted. It was on fire. And then the last place where the damage happened was the back of my shorts that I was wearing under the racing suit, and I burned through here. I only had one more layer left before I would have experienced some serious injury. And that's where I need to talk to you guys about never, ever, 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 ever compromising on safety, as I take my glasses off once I realized I'm wearing them. Anyway, so the thing is that when something like this happens and you're feeling something really odd, just stop. Races are going to continue happening. I wasn't even anywhere in points to, like, you know, be like this kind of #1 spot or #2 spot. I'm no Lewis Hamilton or Verstappen or Carlos Sainz or any of those other Formula 1 guys. I'm just a 41-year-old fat dude trying to live out my passion. Yes, a late bloomer in doing so, but I'm going to do it nonetheless. But in order to do that, I need to make sure that I don't put myself at any kind of unnecessary risk. And that's exactly what I did. I let a part of me take over that is basically something you would expect a little kid, or again, somebody who's trying to, you know, be #1. this was not the right moment or the right time for it, and I really do actually regret the fact that I let reason go by the side and I decided to do something so crazy, really frankly so stupid. So definitely not going to do that again. See this whole lesson learned thing that I'm talking about? Yeah, that's exactly what happened here again, and I should have never even let it get to that point. But anyway, I'm glad that I did have the right safety equipment. This is why I keep talking a lot about safety, and safety. And yes, I compromised my own principles on it, but I'm never doing it again. And I will promise you and everybody else I was actually talking to at the track as well, I committed to this, and I will make sure I don't do anything dumb again like this. But anyway, this is the message that I really wanted to put across to you guys, that, you know, things can get real bad. It may not have this time, and I might have just burned my pride in more ways than one, but it wasn't worth it at all. So anyway, enough talking about that. Overall, the weekend was great. Like I mentioned, I got to socialize a lot with a lot of people. We had a lot of people who were actually generous to us and gave us things that, you know, cost a lot of money. So very thankful for all the individuals. Very thankful for the team members of Racing4Vets who showed up. Very thankful for all kinds of support I get from friends and family who understand that this passion of mine is not something that would be equated to a midlife crisis. This is something that I've wanted to do my entire life and just never had the time because of many other reasons. So I'll continue doing this. And as a matter of fact, with the whole experience that I had on the KA100, I really want to make sure that I really hone down the discipline required in getting the cart to work the way it does, understanding the dynamics of chassis, the engine, the temperature, tire pressure, all those kinds of variables that go into making sure that the cart is going to behave the way you want to, and then really improving on my own skills. Like I said, I'm no Verstappen or Lewis Hamilton, but at the same time, I don't think I am a zero skill person either. So I'll do the best I can to try to get up there. You know, the fact of the matter is, just a few races ago, I placed 5th in pole position. So obviously I have the ability to do it. So why not try again and again to get that consistency point so that I can actually really start to earn the respect of my contemporaries, and as well as, you know, find myself racing in faster platforms. So yeah, it's been a great season. Unfortunately, I can kind of see the season coming to an end. It's only, what, a month and a half, I suppose, before all of this is over with. And then, of course, that long winter, at least it seems long, before the next season starts. But still, an exciting time that I've had, and I cannot wait already for the next season to start and be with these guys, because it's been a great experience. Yes, the distance is far. Yes, it requires for me to forego a lot of other commitments to do so, but all in all, it's so worth it. Anyway, guys, that is all I have for you. Thank you again so much for watching. A weirdo like me, a person like me who is struggling, not exactly, you know, showing, I suppose, the kinds of performance that many of the other real good go-karters do out there. But you know what? I'm sure I'll get there. I might be old, but I'm not out of the competition either. And I hope that also serves as an inspiration for some of you all who are watching this. And I will see you at the next Apex. Bye-bye.